Hello everybody, this is your English teacher Miss Maalouf, and today we are going to enjoy our grammar revision lesson. We are going to go over two supplementary exercises, the most suggested ones in your official exams. So today's lesson objective is very easy. We are going to review all the required grammar lessons in general. Exercise A. In each of the following sentences, there is one grammatical error. Identify the error and then correct it. We will go over the 5 sample sentences, but I will stop at each sentence, not only to identify the error, but also to identify the reason behind it. For example, sentence number 1, they are trying to sell their house. It has been on the market since 2 months. You know that the present perfect is used with since and for to talk about a situation that began in the past and is still true in the present. According to the first sentence, as we all know, since is followed by the mention of a specific point in time. However, for is followed by the mention of a length of time. Since 2 months shows length of time, we have to replace since by for. Sentence number 2. The movie which we watched it on cable last night was frightening. If we look at sentence number 2, which we watched on cable is an adjective clause that describes the noun that functions as the subject, the movie. So as we all know, the adjective clause begins with a relative pronoun which, so there is no need to use a pronoun twice. That's why the object pronoun it has to be crossed out from sentence number 2, and the new sentence becomes, the movie which we watched on cable last night was frightening. Sentence number 3. Unfortunately, no one can tell what kind of obstacles will he face. If you were asked to make an information question, it will be, what kind of obstacles will he face? And if you were asked to change the same question into a noun clause, as you know, the subject and the verb go back into their normal positions. So the new sentence becomes, no one can tell what kind of obstacles he will face. So we have to change will he face into he will face. Excellent. Sentence number 4. Rarely she has attended a musical concert alone. Sometimes we can begin our sentences with adverbials or with negative words. But when this happens, this means you have to pay attention that an adverbial is followed by an auxiliary verb, the subject and the main verb. Simply, the sentence changes into, rarely has she attended a musical concert alone. Sentence number 5, nobody couldn't say what his fault was. So in sentence number 5, we are actually going to change couldn't into could, because as we know, we cannot use two negatives in the same sentence. Avoid using double negatives in the same sentence. Exercise B. Rewrite the following sentences, starting each as indicated without changing the meaning. This is another common type of suggested questions of the official exams. Sentence number 1. After that, I was accepted by the National Academy of Law. If you notice in the first sentence, I was accepted, the verb has the following form, be plus past participle. So this sentence is in the passive voice. And as the second sentence begins with the National Academy of Law by the agent of the first sentence, it means we are going to change from the passive voice into the active voice. So the National Academy of Law accepted me after that. Why did I use accepted? I used accepted as the verb in the original sentence is in the past passive voice. Sentence number 2. I couldn't finish it because I moved to the United States. If you notice, we are asked to start the second sentence with if, so we are going to change the main sentence with an adverb clause into a conditional sentence. As we learn in class, let's identify where the adverb clause is and begin with it. The adverb clause is the clause that begins with one of the subordinating conjunctions. And in this sentence, the whole clause is because I moved to the United States. So, the verb in the adverb clause is simple past. Remember, when you change into a conditional sentence, you have to go one tense back in time. And if it is affirmative, you have to change it into negative and the other way around. Moved is simple past. And one tense back in time is the past perfect, had moved. But since moved is affirmative, we have to change it into negative. If I hadn't moved to the United States, now the things are much clearer, because if the if clause uses the past perfect, this means we are dealing with conditional sentence type 3. So, the main clause has to use would or could, etc., plus have plus past participle. And since the main clause uses the negative couldn't, we change it into could have finished it. So finally, we have conditional sentence type 3. Number 3, social media has transformed all relationships. Again, sentence 3 is similar to sentence 1, but this time we have to change from the active into the passive voice. What has social media transformed? All relationships. So this is the direct object of the verb has transformed. If a sentence begins with the direct object changes into the subject of the new sentence. And since the verb is in the present perfect tense, the passive voice is has or have plus been plus past participle. And since all relationships, or relationships in particular, is plural, so the auxiliary have and not has is used. All relationships have been transformed by social media. Sentence number 4. Tanya is a heavy user of social media, but she doesn't have a lot of friends. The new sentence has to begin with although. And since you know that both although and but have the same meaning, the meaning of contrast or contradiction, one of them should be used in a sentence, and since although introduces the new sentence, simply cross out but. Although Tanya is a heavy user of social media, comma, she doesn't have a lot of friends. Sentence number 5. The internet ruins the real relationships and it puts its users under pressure. The new sentence begins with not only. Remember that when you have not only, you should have but also, because these are correlative conjunctions. And the thing about not only is that it should be followed by an auxiliary, subject, and the main verb. And since in number 5, ruins ends with S, we have to add the auxiliary does. Not only does the internet ruin the real relationships. Why ruin? Because now S is a part of does, comma, but it also puts the users under pressure. Now you will have this homework assignment for tomorrow, Wednesday, April 15. Please try to identify the one grammatical error in each of the following sentences and try to discuss the reason behind this error or grammatical mistake. Sentence number 1. Could you please tell me what is true friendship? Sentence number 2. If Sarah had gone with us last night, she would meet all friends. Please pay attention to the 3 types of conditional sentences. 3. Mark McDonald can't be found by his friend. Number 4. A vegetarian can be defined as someone who do not eat meat, fish, or other animal products. 5. If we don't make changes in our lives soon, they would be very boring. 6. Some Japanese universities are developing medical robots to detecting certain kinds of cancer. 7. I don't know why did the United Nations announce this in 2005. 8. First of all, I was a typical person, anxious, impatient, and I had curiosity. 9. Office workers who telecommute from their own homes are much productive than before. 10. My 7-year-old nephew have some disgusting habits that make him weird. Sentence number 11, I can't remember where have I met you. Sentence number 12, the manager wanted to know why didn't the customer pay the debt. Sentence number 13, under no condition the students will leave the class without signing the paper. Sentence number 14, I will tell him the good news when I will see him tomorrow. Sentence number 15, modern education emphasizes values like freedom, respect, and to tolerate. Sentence number 16, I don't know why does he mix the glass like that. Sentence number 17, practicing crafts are important for teenagers to grow up mentally. Sentence number 18, she felt boring while watching the people producing glass. Sentence number 19, the history teacher is walking into the art gallery when she tripped and broke her leg. Remember, the errors have to do with subject-verb agreement, verb tenses, adjective and noun clauses, parallelism in terms of verbs and adjectives, time clauses, etc. Finally, we have exercise B. Rewrite the following sentences starting each as indicated without changing the meaning. Sentence number 1, the owner didn't charge him any rent, and you have to start your new sentence with he. Sentence number 2, he changed his life completely, for he was dissatisfied. And you have again to change sentence number 2 into a conditional sentence beginning with if. Sentence number 3. This information has never been accessed by millions of people. You have to start your new sentence with millions of people. Sentence number 4. They did not attend the ceremony because they were not invited. Again, you have to change this sentence into a conditional sentence with if. Sentence number 5. He rarely visits local museums. You have to start your new sentence with the adverbial rarely. Sentence number 6. Nabil gave the girl a glass souvenir. You have to change this sentence from the active voice into the passive voice. Sentence number 7. He said, do you know how they are manufacturing glass? Remember, in number 7, you will change from quoted speech into reported speech. So to remove the quotation marks, you have to make so many changes regarding the pronouns, the verb tenses, and other time-related words. Thank you all, and I will be back with you for the answer key.